And so here it is, Zachariah is doing what he normally does. He's being a priest, but he's alone. He's alone. And the angel appears to him and tells him that he's about to have a son. Now, I imagine that Zachariah had prayed for a son long ago, but now he's very old, and his wife is very old, and now his faith is not where it used to be. How many of us have waited for something for so long that we actually stopped believing God for it? How many of us have been believing for a thing, believing for something in our life that was miraculous, that you needed God for, but yet and still it has not happened? It has not. It's been so long you stopped praying about it. Huh? Well, this was Zachariah, because he was old, because when the angel told him it was going to happen, that the angel is spelling out what was going to happen. And what did Zachariah say to him? In Zechariah, verse 18, and Zechariah said to the angel, how shall I know this? Now, wait a minute. Here is an angel standing before you, and he has told you all this stuff, and your answer is, how shall I know this? How shall I? What? So that was his answer. How shall I know this? And how shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife is well advanced in years. Because you know God didn't know that. God didn't know that his wife was well advanced in years. I'm being facetious, church. God didn't know his wife was well advanced in years. He did know that. And I love what Gabriel says to him. I love Gabriel's answer. And the angel answered and said to him, I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God. In other words, Zechariah said, I am Zechariah. Look what he said. I am Zechariah. I am an old man, and my wife is well advanced in years. And the angel answered and said, I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God, and was sent to speak to you and bring you these glad tidings. Huh? That's the key, church. That's the key right there. A lot of times when we believe in God for something, we want God to bless us with something. We want God to give us the thing that we've been believing for. And what happens? We're looking at our natural situation. He said, I am Zachariah. He said, I am Zachariah. I am old in age. My wife is old. How can we do this thing? You cannot do it. God is not asking you to do it. Gabriel answered him beautifully. I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence of the Lord. And God said it, it will be so. That's what the difference was in this passage here. You see, you have one man looking at his natural ability, and you had the angel saying, listen, I stand in the presence. So church is saying to us, we need to get where? In the presence. We need to get in the presence. If we're going to get our prayers answered, it has to be in the presence of God. Stop looking at your natural situation. Stop looking at what you don't have. Stop looking at how much education you don't have, how much this you don't have, how much that you don't have. Get in the presence. I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence. Zechariah seemed to have faith to pray the prayer, but he no longer had the faith to believe God that the prayer would be answered. Some of us have the faith to pray the prayer, but you don't have the faith to believe the prayer will be answered. You know where your answer comes from, but you don't believe it's coming. You have long stopped believing, like Zachariah. He's old in age. His wife is old in age. You have long stopped believing the thing that God told you. God has told you something. God has promised you something, and you stop believing. Even when the angel is standing before you, even when you're in the presence of God, he reminds you of it. You're like, that ain't happening. I ain't listening to that. Even when you're in the presence of God and God is speaking to you, you don't have the faith to believe it. And for that, Zechariah was made mute. He said, well, then just shut up then. If you can't believe it, stop praying. Shut up. Let me work this work. Right? And some of us need to just stop talking. Just be quiet. Just be mute for a while. And believe what the Spirit of the Lord has already said to you. I love Gabriel's answer. I really do. I stand in the presence. What are you talking about? You're talking about these circumstances, these natural things. I stand in the presence. You see, when you're young, you have the ability to believe God for all kinds of stuff. You know, Caleb, you could probably go out right now and believe God for whatever you want because you trust God. You just came into the faith, man. You on fire for God. But you know, us old ones, us old heads, been walking a while. You know, we tend to stop believing for some stuff we've been praying for. I know I'm right about it. We tend to stop believing for it. We tend to think, well, it ain't happened when I thought it was going to happen. It ain't happened when I gave it another shot, it didn't happen. Then I tried it again, and it didn't happen. So it ain't going to happen. See, Hannah, she knew this prayer. See, Hannah never stopped. Hannah kept pressing on and pressing on and pressing on until finally she brought forth Samuel. She pressed so hard that people thought she was drunk, that she was praying so much for her babe to come, and she wanted this gift from God. But she never stopped. She never stopped believing. She never stopped trusting. Abraham was believing, was told that he would be the father of many nations, but he had no children. It was kind of funny to him and his wife when the angel came to him and said, listen, you're going to be the father of many nations, and Sarah will bring forth. What? They thought it was funny. They thought it was a joke. See, sometimes we are waiting so long for something to happen in our lives that we just dismiss it. Hallelujah. Tell your neighbor, Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. We're talking about Christmas is coming this morning, church. We're talking about the preparation for Christmas. We're talking about preparing ourselves for the birth. We're talking about getting ready for Christmas. Christmas is coming.